All right, what is going on, Ravens flock? And we are back here again. Ravens Way Podcast, episode number 12. In the off season, things are very, very slow right now, but we're powering through. We're here Thursday night. Feeling good. Feeling good about football from around the corner. Can't come fast enough. That's what she said. We're doing good. How you doing, Vox?
I'm doing well. Honestly, I feel good. I feel recharged all of a sudden this week. Starting to get back into some, fantasy rankings, some future bets that I like, stuff like that. I feel like, now you had a couple weeks of kind of down gear, and now we're starting to ramp up to the next season. But maybe some need a couple more weeks, but I'm ready to go.
Yeah, same here. I'm ready to go. Feeling good. Training camp is right around the corner. The 4th of July is right around the corner. All things are good.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So yeah, about a month from now is training camp. So in the meantime, now's a good time to take maybe a step back and take a look at the league at large, or as a whole. And I think that's what we're trying to do with this episode. I think it's going to be an interesting season. There's maybe a group of 5 teams at the top of the totem pole of the league, and then about 5 teams that are going to be competing for the number 1 overall pick, and then 25 teams or so, or 22 teams really fighting for seeding. There's not a lot of separating a lot of the teams in that region.
Definitely agree. It's the talent pool is getting wider every year in college. Players are getting better, coming in the league better, and the product as a whole in the NFL is getting a lot better with competitive week in and week out. So, more the reason why you should focus on maybe 1 or 2 seasons of building the best roster you can, and maybe other seasons kind of taking a step back. But that's not what we're here to talk about. We're here to talk about the league-wide view. And Vox, do we want to go ahead and start off with the NFC?
Yeah, let's get into the NFC. So I'm going to use the win totals from Caesars Sportsbook in Vegas from this week. I think I jotted them down on Monday or Tuesday. Let's start with the East, and we'll start with the reigning NFC champion Philadelphia Eagles. Their win total is one of the highest on the board at 11.5.
11.5. Okay. I'll go ahead and go first. I'm gonna go with under.
I'm going over.
All
right. Next is Dallas at 9.5. So Dallas, I think. Well, go ahead. Why don't we? Let me hear your pick, and then I'll give you my logic behind my pick. Unless you want me to go first.
What was the line?
9.5 for Dallas.
Over.
Yeah.
Over. I think that they made some really nice additions this offseason.
Yeah, so I'm also going over. I think Philly and Dallas are the creme de la creme of the NFC. Dallas, they got those bookend pass rushers, even a third pass rusher coming on. They added, was it Gilmore? Gilmore, right?
Yep. Gilmore
to Diggs. They had a good O-line. I think there could really be. I think one of those 2 teams is probably going to have the best record in the NFC and have the 1 seed. So we'll circle back to that. But I think that those are the 2 best rosters, top to bottom, in the conference, just because they both have they don't have any weaknesses in the pass defense or passing offense.
Right. Yep.
Next team up is the Giants at 7.5.
7.5. I feel like they're 8 and 9 team. Daboll's a great coach, but I feel like that contract they handed out. Who did they add in the offseason? I liked Banks. I think Banks is a great ad.
They got a bunch. They added about 5 slot receivers.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know. Their passing offenses. It is like a push almost for me, but
where are you going?
I'll go under. I'll go under. I'll go under.
Okay, I'm going over. And I think probably 8's the magic number, but I think there's value in number 8 on the Giants. So what are we betting for this, by the way? Like, how many thousands of dollars for the person that gets this correct?
Yeah. The total amount of wins we each have, and then I don't know. We'll think of something.
All right, sounds good. 6.5 for your Washington Commanders. 6.5.
I will go ahead and go over.
I'm also going over there. I think it's a good division, one of the better divisions in the NFC. Washington has some holes, but they have good defensive front and a lot of playmakers on offense. So I think they'll be a competitive team.
Yeah, I agree. And Sam Howell will be comeback player of the year, MVP, offensive player of the year.
I mean, what is he coming back from?
Being doubted. That's what he's coming back.
Okay. All right. Sounds good. All right. Let's move on to the West. San Fran is, considered one of the best teams in the league. They have been for many years running. 10.5 is their total.
We'll go over.
I'm also going over on San Fran, but I'm not super bullish on their postseason prospects. Next team is Seattle. They're at 9. Pete Carroll's been one of the longest tenured coaches in the league. Geno Smith's looking to keep it going. And they have a young roster, but a talented roster.
I would agree with the San Fran comment you made before, but Seattle, I feel like they're gonna go like 9-8, but for the sake of picking one, I'll go ahead and go under.
All right, I'm over on Seattle. I'm pretty bullish on Seattle, but we'll get there. Next one up is the Rams at 6.5. Not really sure what they're doing on defense, but Sean McVay, I think, can elevate most offenses with Stafford and Kupp on them.
Yeah, over for me.
So I'm under on the Rams. You're going over, and then Arizona Cardinals are at 4.5, which makes them the odds-on favorite to have the number 1 pick next year.
This is tough because it really depends on when Kyler comes back. That roster does suck. Over.
All right, I'm under. We got some pretty good differences here. So far, we have 1, 2, 3. We have 5 out of 8 differences. I think Zona's going to try to get the number 1 pick. So I think they're going to actively, I can see them getting the number 1 pick at 4 or even 3. But anyway, let's move on to the North. Detroit Lions, the Darling Lions at 9.5 wins and the plus 145 favorites to take home the NFC North.
Under.
I'm also under on the Lions. I think they're the makings of a decent team, but I've never been a golf believer, and I think they're investing in a style of football that's a little bit too old-fashioned without having enough playmakers in the secondary in particular.
Yeah, they blew that draft.
Yeah. Next up is the Bears. 7.5 is their total. Plus 420 to win the division.
7.5. I'll go over.
I'm over on the Bears still, and their defense is garbage, but I think their offense is going to be pretty good.
Yeah. Yep.
Next up is the Minnesota Vikings at 8.5. Winners of the division last 2 years, or did the Packers win it in 21? I don't recall. Anyway, they won.
Packers won in 21 because Rodgers was the MVP.
Right. Okay. Yeah. So, but yeah, Minnesota's at 8.5.
Well, looking at all these other teams that we have over, there's got to be some team somewhere that just really sucks. And it seems like Minnesota will like have one year where they overperform and go to the divisional round, and then like the year following they'll be really bad.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna go under. I'm gonna go under.
I'm also under on the Vikings. You know, you're sending the wrong message with Dalvin and ZDS, and I don't think they have enough difference makers at this point.
Yep.
Last team in the North is the Packers. Jordan loves Packers at 7.5.
I will go with the over.
I'm under on the Packers. I think their defense has been paper tigers for years, and I don't trust their receivers. So, just quick side note: I thought this was interesting. As far as odds to win the division, the Bears are plus 420, and they're the least likely, according to Vegas. Detroit's plus 145, Minnesota's plus 270, Green Bay's plus 350. The Bears at plus 420 is the best or worst, in a way, odds out of any of the division. The only other one that's close would be Pittsburgh in our division at plus 470. Anyway, the point is those four teams are clubbed together pretty closely, more closely than any other division, at least according to divisional odds. Last division in the NFC, the Dirty South. New Orleans is the favorite at plus 135. Their win total is set at 9.5.
I will go ahead and go with over.
I'm also over on the Saints. Atlanta is 8.5. Dirty Birds.
They really did make some good moves this offseason. I mean, their defense got a nice little bit of veterans, a little bit of young guys. Okuda, Campbell, Bates.
Yeah, Bates is the one.
There's three really good ads, and I like Ebiketie as well. Oh man, I'm gonna go. Oh Christ, under.
I'm under on the Falcons too. I just don't trust Ritter. Carolina 7.5. The Panthers. We'll see. The new era has begun here. So 7.5. And they got a couple players. I think they got a couple pass rushers on defense that I like. And a lot of first-round picks in the secondary. Former first-round picks.
Yeah, they have a good roster. I mean, it's all on the rookie quarterback. I mean, not all these teams can. I mean, we got a lot of overs here, so not all these teams can perform the best. So I'm gonna go under with them as well.
You're going under on Carolina?
Yeah.
Same here. Just not quite enough quality playmakers on offense. Yeah. And Tampa, 6.5. Also ushering in a new era. This is a rebuilding division if I ever saw one.
Yeah. They really didn't do a lot in the offseason outside of bringing in Mayfield. They draft Kalijah Kancey. They retained Jamel Dean. I mean, they got good players.
Joe Tryon breakout season. Tryon's a one, man. Everybody's all over him.
They got good players. 6.5 though. I mean, I could see Baker Mayfield leading them like 8 and 9, so I'll take the over.
All right, I'm under on Tampa, but I think it's a close call. All right, let's before we get into the AFC, let's do our NFC playoff predictions.
All right, so I have the Cowboys as the 1 seed.
Good choice.
The Saints as the 2 seed. 49ers as the 3. Packers the 4.
Mm-hmm.
Eagles the 5. Commanders the 6,
Okay.
and Rams the 7. Rams the 7.
The Rams.
Matthew Stafford, comeback player of the year. Comeback player of the year, Matthew Stafford.
All right.
No, it all makes sense. Trust me, I checked it out.
All right. I'm looking. All right, I got you. All right. So I like your call of Cowboys 1. I was like back and forth between them and the Eagles, probably 3 times. I settled on the Eagles, though. I think they have a little bit more depth as a 1. I have Seattle Seahawks as my 2. I have the New Orleans Saints as my 3. Detroit Lions as my 4 by default, and they're going to get smoked on the divisional round.
Yuck.
Dallas is 5. I have San Fran all the way down at 6. Shanahan's the quarterback whisperer, and they got some playmakers. Their O-line's not that good, man, besides Trent Williams. And their secondary is not that good either, besides Charvarius Ward. And I don't know. I think a questionable O-line and a questionable secondary. I've said it before. If I'm building a team from scratch and you could pick 3 position groups to be strong at, give me quarterback, O-line, and defensive backs. So I got them all the way down at 6. And then I had the Bears at 7, and I went back and forth between them and the Giants, but I settled on Justin Fields' upside there.
All right. Well, we'll see what happens. I mean, we both have. I think the differences between the two is you have Seattle, Detroit, and the Bears in, and I have the Commanders, Packers, and Rams.
Yeah,
Rams
I'm
38 rookies, I think.
Their entire defense. Have you seen their defensive depth chart?
Yeah, it's all rookies, but Sean McVay is gonna have to whisper loudly.
I suppose, man. I think I'm pretty high on Seattle, putting them all the way up there at the 2 seed. I liked what I saw at Geno last year. I don't think it was a mirage. I think they might have the second best trio of receivers in the league. They have a good pair of young bookend tackles. They have a nice complement of 2 tailbacks, decent tight end. They got Fant. They have a good looking depth chart. And then on defense, nice corners and a lot of pieces up front. They brought Bobby Wagner back to kind of be the green dot captain communicator. And so I'm gonna plant my flag in Seattle. That's kind of that might be my team that I'm higher on the most in the NFC this year.
Yeah, I just don't think they have. I don't know, the pieces up front. They're just a bunch of young guys that really haven't done much. I mean, they're high drafted guys and they're high ceiling guys, but I don't think those guys are ready.
Fair enough. We shall see. Should we kick it over to the American Football Conference?
Yeah.
All right, we'll save the best for last year. But let's start. Well, actually, let's go with the best first. Kansas City, 11.5.
We're gonna go ahead and go with the over.
Yeah, I'm comfortably over 11.5. Chargers, 9.5.
Over.
I'm also over. They're plus 300 to win that division. So KC's minus 160 for the record. Denver, 8.5.
Under.
I'm under on Denver too. They don't have any pass rushers. And I mean, they don't have any pass rushers, and there's a decent chance that Russ is cooked. And it's a tough damn division too. So I'll take a more like 7-8-1 kind of team.
Yep.
LVR. The good old LVR. The Garoppolos.
John Gruden's Raiders. What are they at?
6.5.
Under.
I'm also under. They're plus 1,200 to win their division, which is the second worst odds in the NFL. Arizona is the only team that has worse odds to win the division.
I think that was our first division. We were on the same on everything.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of like a haves and have-nots division. I guess some people might like Denver. I mean, I like Pat Surtain and a couple other guys, but they just don't have enough, their core isn't wide enough yet.
Yeah. They bought a whole bunch of people in free agency. And overpaid a little bit, in my opinion.
Spending money on all-pro talent, Jacoby Myers, you mean? But yeah, let's go to the South. Jacksonville is at 10, and they are heavy favorites. I mean, they're minus 160, same as KC to win their division.
Under.
I'm also under, and that was before the news broke of Cam Robinson. It was Cam's, right? Cam Robinson's suspension today. Yeah, they don't have enough. I don't think they have enough on defense yet.
They don't have enough difference makers.
Well, they have Ridley now, and I think Kirk and Ridley's a common. Although those guys are somewhat similar, it just 10's a lot. 10's a big number for a young team. That's really where I'm at.
Yeah.
So Tennessee is 7.5.
Over.
I'm under on Tennessee. Defense looks okay, but has some holes. It's just their offense looks horrible, man. I don't know what the hell, just the guys are throwing the ball to. It's not like they have a Lamar Jackson that can prop an entire offense up on his back,
Yeah.
Houston is next at 6.5.
Under.
I'm under on Houston as well. Not there yet. Go ahead.
Not good enough. Just through young rookie quarterback. He'll get to it.
Yeah. Indy is also 6.5.
Over.
So I changed it, and I had over, but I changed it to under. So you might get me on that one. But I do kind of like Indy plus 500 to win the South as like a dark horse. Just give me your pitch for Indy over.
Anthony Richardson. Got down.
I just their offensive line again and their defensive backfield concerns me, and like I said, that's a combination that I'll never be bullish on the team with. Let's go to the East.
Real quick.
Yeah.
Real quick.
Go real slow. Take your time.
I think that their offensive line is very talented. They just need to recover a little bit from last year. You got Nelson, Braden Smith, and Ryan Kelly, Bernard Raymond. Those are all players that I like. So I think they can bounce back. And then they have Julius Brents and Darius Rush, also two players I like in this draft. So I think those could be a making for maybe some young rookie contributors.
You know what? That's a good case. Can I change my pick back to up?
Yeah, if you want to.
I'm not bullshitting you. I literally have my whole thing here, and that one team is scratched off and wrote up, and none of the rest are. Yeah, I'll go back to up. You talked me into it, bro.
Sorry, we'll die on the boat together.
I mean, if I like them as a division sleeper, I should take the over, right?
Yeah.
All right, Buffalo in the East. We're going to Buffalo at 10.5, a team that has been a perennial contender the last few years. Good-looking offense, added some pieces on defense, and hopefully hopefully for them at least, we'll have the return of some of their DBs that missed time last year and have been banged up the last couple of years.
Over, but I think they get 11.
Yeah, I'm over on them too, but not by much.
Yeah,
but exactly. Not by much.
I don't. Their pass offense is just tight end is not wide receiver, and them drafting a tight end in the first round, and then Osiris Torrance is a solid player, but them ignoring a wide receiver too for this long is going to cost them. Yeah,
they need another pass catcher, but maybe they'll get that. If they do get that other pass catcher, I do like their prospects, but if they're going to now say we're going to tighten up our purse strings for whatever reason, I think that'll be a mistake because their window is about to close if they don't push another chip in.
Yeah, if they got Hopkins, I think that this would be a different conversation.
Exactly. All right, let's go to the Jets. The Jets, Aaron Rodgers' Jets are 9.5.
I'm going to go over, and I think this is I won't say it, but I'm going to go over.
Okay, I'm under on the Jets. Their excuse me. Their offensive line remains a concern, and I think their defense is a little bit overhyped. So we're going under on the Jets 9.5. Next up is Miami at also 9.5.
I will go over on them as well.
Yeah, I'm over on Miami. We've talked about that in previous shows. We'll get to it when we get to the playoffs, I think.
As long as Tua is healthy, I think they'll be fine.
Yeah. New England 7.5. Matt Judon's New England Patriots.
Yes. Gosh, they were handing out money to mid-level players this week. It was ridiculous. I like Parker though, but I think Juwan Bentley for $9 million a year is a little ridiculous. I think that they were.
Nah, dude, they overpaid Parker too. That was an overpay. You don't pay Parker at this stage that kind of coin. I don't think so. I wouldn't have done that personally. He can't separate. He's
the jump ball X, and I guess that's worth $11 million.
Not quite.
I mean, I can see a scenario where they get 8 wins, but that requires like what were they last year? Were they 8-9 or 9-8?
No. I don't know. I don't remember the record, man. It's been a minute now. I'll look it up while you make your point.
Okay. I think I really like Tyquan Thornton. There's been a lot of hype around him in the Patriots camp. Josh Uche is a good player. Judon's a good player, obviously. You got Barmore on the inside.
Uche, you said Uche, right?
Yeah.
He came on strong towards the end of last year. They were 8-9 last year. They were 8-9.
Yeah, I'll go over.
Okay, I'm under on New England, but with a low confidence level. I mean, I think they're somewhere in the 6 to 9 range. Just picking other teams. That was kind of like that thing. We took a lot of overs. We got to take some unders too.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I get it.
All right, let's go to our hometown division, the North. Cincinnati is plus 130 to win the division at 11.5 projected wins.
Under.
Under?
Mm-hmm.
I'm also under. Interesting.
Yep.
Well, our Baltimore Ravens are 10.5 plus 250 to win the division.
Over.
I'm also over. Cleveland is 9.5 plus 390, which I kind of like as a division prop.
I'm gonna go over on them as well.
I'm also over on Cleveland. And those Pittsburgh Steelers at 9. 9 is by far the highest of any projected fourth place team.
9. Tomlin's never had a losing. He's never had.
Because he got a tie last year.
Yeah. I just want to pick 9 if I could, but I can't.
No, they got a 9 last year. I'm sorry. It was the year before they got the tie.
Yeah. I'm gonna go under.
I'm under too. I'm under also. We're exact same on our division. So
Yeah.
Hold up. We're exact same in the East, exact same in the West, exact same in the North, and Tennessee is our only difference in the AFC. Is that correct? I think Tennessee's our only difference in the AFC over unders win totals.
The Jets as well.
Oh yeah. All right,
and
2.
And New England.
Wait, you went over on New England?
Yeah.
And you went over on the Jets too?
Correct.
My fault. I wrote something off. Sorry about that. All right, let's get to the playoff seeding when you're ready.
All right. So here we go. Listen to this. Hold up. I messed up. One second.
Take your time.
I got a little too cocky.
A little too ambitious.
Yeah. am I doing? Oh my God. I broke all these numbers out. I could be done. Okay, here we go. One.
You want me to go while you finish yours up?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. So it's tough, man. I think there's 10 playoff worthy rosters in the AFC. The three that didn't make my I had the Chargers out. I went back and forth with that, but I had the Chargers out. I also had the Jets out of the playoffs. I'm not making the playoffs. And the last one, I guess they're still a contender, I suppose, is the Broncos. So I'm going to go backwards. And I want to start with my number 7 team is going to be the Cleveland Browns. They have a lot of talent in the right places. My number 6 seeded wild card in the AFC is the Buffalo Bills. Number 5 is the Cincinnati Bengals. Number 4 is the Jacksonville Jaguars by default. Number 3 is the Miami Dolphins, which is, I guess, the AFC team that I'm planting my flag on. Number 2 is our Baltimore Ravens. And number 1 is the Kansas City Chiefs. The Kings stay the king until somebody dethrones them. But I guess you could say Miami's the team I'm planting my flag in for this season. I like McDaniel as a play caller. I think their offensive line is good enough. I think they have maybe the best 1-2 punch of receiver in the whole league. And then I think their defense, they got some good pass rushers. Jalen Phillips coming on. And they added my guy Jalen Ramsey, who's one of my favorite players in the league. Florida State guy. He's not from Florida. He's from Tennessee, but I'm sure I have a feeling going back to Florida is going to give him a little extra motivation across from Xavier Howard. So that's where I am on the AFC. I think the league is very competitive and the conference is very competitive as a whole. What it comes down to is having talent in the right places. So that's how I see it. What do you got, bro?
All right, I'm about to do something pretty crazy to change because I kind of messed up bad, but I need to fix it. All right.
So you
So listen to this. This is hell. Okay, so we got that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Where's 6?
All right, bro. We're about to put the Jeopardy timer on you. One team from each division and 3 wild cards.
I know. I don't know why I'm bugging out. I think that's good, right? Okay, never mind. We're good. I was about to do something. I was about to do something irrational and take Kansas City out of the playoffs.
Yeah, that would have been irrational.
Okay. But
all right, let's hear it.
If it does happen, I had an epiphany where Patrick Mahomes tore his ACL. If it does happen, I had an epiphany. So I'm saying that now. I'm not trying to put it in the air and be weird. I'm just saying. Anyway.
I mean, if any quarter or QB1 tears their ACL, throw it out the window. But
exactly.
What you got?
Right. Chargers 1, Miami 2, Baltimore 3, Indy 4, Cincinnati 5, Buffalo 6, KC 7.
All right, give that to me again.
All right.
Chargers 1.
Yep. Miami 2.
Miami 2.
Baltimore
Ravens
3. Indy 4.
Indy.
Yep.
Okay.
Cincinnati 5.
Cincy. And then you said the Chiefs were 7, right?
Yeah.
Who's 6? Buffalo? You said Buffalo. Yeah. All right, dude. Give me the. I think we're seeing things pretty much the same way, except I have the Chargers out of the playoffs and you have them at the 1 seed. So hit me.
I'm not gonna lie. This is a little mixed up, but you know what? They're in and they're not. All right, that's the point. But now,
what is it? They're in?
No. I have KC on the over at 11.5, but I also have the Bengals on under an 11.5, but I have KC to 7 and Cincinnati at 5. So we'll just go ahead and swap those.
All right. So you got all right. But other than that, you're good.
Yeah. We're good. I just want to make sure that if it does happen, I don't.
All right. So make the case for the Chargers getting the bye, because getting a bye in a one with only one team getting a bye is a big deal, and I don't even have them in the playoffs.
Yeah. So I think that they recognize that they needed to upgrade the pass offense, and they got my favorite receiver in the draft. Personal favorite, not scouting favorite. And I think he adds a huge explosiveness to their offense. And with some players coming back healthy and a new offensive coordinator who's going to let Justin Herbert cook a little bit more. Derwin James, Joey Bosa,
Khalil Mack.
Yeah, Khalil Mack.
J.C. Jackson.
Yep, Asante Samuel Jr. And then I just think that I think they were like, I can't remember. I think their schedule was like the 15th easiest in the NFL. That's off the top of my head. But, when we look back at the years where New England was the dominant dynasty team and they're always the one, every once in a while there's a year where they weren't the one and they weren't the number one team in the division. They were the 5 seed, like I just switched Kansas City to. And I think that this is the year.
Are you sure, bro? I feel like they won the division a lot of years in a row.
I don't think it was every year. I don't think it was every year.
Yeah, I mean, I hear you. It's just, the Jets and the Dolphins and the Bills weren't the caliber of the Chiefs back then. But I hear you. I think it's a good case, honestly. So you're telling me you think on paper the Chargers are more talented than the Browns? Just straight on paper.
I mean, quarterback's such an important position. We just don't know what Watson's going to be like.
Yeah.
I thought I think the Browns are going to be one of those teams where they go 10-7 and don't make it.
Yeah, I feel like it's between those two, maybe for the final spot. It's tough, man. It's really tough. The Ravens cannot afford to slip up. The Chiefs, anybody. Buffalo. You know what? That might be my move, to be honest. I might end up putting the Chargers in and the Bills out.
I thought about that. I was like, you know what? It's so hard there. There's so many good teams in the AFC. It's like
I'm under on Buffalo for like I'm gonna put a good decent sized wager on that one now. Even though 10.5 is not that many. Well, there's a couple different ways to approach it. Maybe I'll just take the Miami division odds, but I think it's gonna be a tough year, man. It's gonna be a tough year. It's gonna come down to playmakers making plays at the right times and schemes and play callers, and there's a lot of good teams, man. I'm excited to see how it unfolds.
So who was I was in the middle of shuffling with mine. Who was your 1-7 in the AFC?
So I'm gonna make that switch then.
Okay.
If that's cool. KC 1. KC 1, Baltimore 2, Miami 3.
Okay.
Jacksonville 4.
Okay.
Cincy 5.
All right.
Chargers 6.
Okay.
Browns 7.
I like it.
Yeah, let's do it. I think I don't know.
Right, you can't erase everything.
That's it. Well, now we got it. So what is the bet?
I don't know.
Didn't we bet something last year? Who was going to make the Super Bowl or something? And I got it right?
Yeah, and you told me to use it on whoever was the MVP.
Oh, yeah, no doubt. Yeah. Anyway, this was fun. It's starting to come together. Still a couple players out there that could, I mean, if Hopkins signs somewhere, that could adjust the landscape a little bit, or maybe a couple that, like a Justin Houston or a Marcus Peters or a Dalvin Cook potentially. But I think we got a pretty good feel for it. It's kind of wild. You look at it and, the Bears are probably like the 12th best team in the AFC. But I have that if they were in the AFC, but I have them in the playoffs in the NFC.
Yeah. Yeah. It's hard because some of these teams are going to go through injuries. Season's going to get blown up. A lot of things can happen between now and August.
Of course. So yeah, we'll continue to take a look at this season. We're going to continue on the bi-weekly schedule between now and training camp because it's a good time to recharge and there's not a whole lot new going on. I mean, we could get into start ranting and raving about who the Pro Football Network has ranked as the 6th tight end, but I don't think that's really good content. So we'll have another good episode for you guys in a couple weeks.
Yep. Appreciate you for joining me, boss. Everyone have a good night. Enjoy your summer. Enjoy your 4th of July weekday. Go America.
Go Ravens.